Hi, I'm marelizg and this is my senior year of high school, class of 2015. I said that really sarcastically. Anyways, recently with college right around the corner and roommate selection being a real, actual thing, I had to describe myself on a single Facebook post. I probably sat there for an hour wondering how I would describe myself. Asking someone to describe themselves is a weird thing to do. Just a year ago, I had no idea what I had wanted to major in. In kindergarten, I had wanted to be a pilot until 9/11 happened. And in the second grade, during career day, I brought my stethoscope and stuffed animals and told everyone that I wanted to be a veterinarian until I learned I was highly allergic to cats. For a little while I wanted to be a teacher until I had a sister and decided that I wasn't good with kids. And I just constantly felt like there was always something in the way of what I wanted to do. And this led me to feel as if I didn't belong anywhere, which really sucked. And I wish I didn't feel that way, but I did back in those elementary school days. That is, until middle school when my best friend Gretel introduced me to this convention in California called VidCon, run by Hank Green and John Green, who happens to be the author of The Fault in Our Stars. For those of you who don't know, he actually is also a YouTuber. It was a convention that celebrated online content creators, specifically YouTube. If we back it up, back in elementary school, I was on like every website ever, Neopets, Guy Online, MySpace, RuneScape, basically anything you can think of and more that you've probably never heard of. So anyway, it was geared specifically towards YouTube, and I had always been familiar with YouTube, but after I heard about this convention, I became increasingly more interested in it. I wanted to make videos just like the ones that I had watched, and when I was 13, my mom bought me a camcorder which I brought with me everywhere, and I was so in love with it. For once, I felt like I actually liked something, and it was exciting to be this passionate about it. But people weren't used to someone walking around with a big old camera, and being different in middle school was never a good thing, I can tell you that. I wouldn't say I was bullied, but I was purposefully taunted and excluded from almost everything, and it sucked, and I just remember feeling so upset and alone, and it just felt really empty for a really long time. People called me names and mocked me, and after that I felt more confused than ever. And side note, there was this guy in my grade that made YouTube videos and everyone made fun of him, and that scared me, so I put my camera down and decided that it wasn't for me, even though it was the one thing that I like to do. And once again, I was at square one, and I didn't like anything again. At this point, I didn't really have the best self-esteem, which led to a bunch of other things, but that would take too long to explain, and I could go on forever about that. So as I entered high school, I was more confused than ever. Family members constantly asked me what I wanted to do, and this question drove me bonkers. It drove me insane. Like, freshman year, if you asked me what I wanted to do, I literally had no idea. So I would tell them anything I could. I literally had no idea what I wanted to do. So I thought joining a multitude of clubs would solve this, and I tried to find out what I like to do, but found that I had become the jack of all trades and the master of none, and had spread myself way too thin. I constantly tried to please everyone and soon found out that I no longer had time for myself, which sucked. I'm saying suck a lot. But this caused my grades to go down as well, and when my grades went down, so did my self-esteem and self-worth. It was bad. It was a bad time. Sophomore year, I joined the dance team and took marching band a little more seriously since I became a bass drum player, and for a little while I felt as if something good was happening in my life, but even then, both of these things weren't something I could imagine doing past high school, and if anything, I was okay at them. I wasn't I wasn't great, I was just okay. The next year, I wasn't floored on almost every routine and constantly put myself down in band because I wasn't that good at that either, and my biggest fault was comparing myself to others. And because I was so distracted with my insecurities, my grades also considered to plummet. I just felt like I was on a downward spiral going nowhere, to be completely honest. Senior year came and I thought for sure I would be dancing, but of course I was wrong and I didn't compete all season, which was really hard on me because I knew that I wouldn't be dancing after high school and this was it. But at the same time, it was a blessing. I gave up on dance, went home one day and picked up my camera, and sooner than later found out that I should have never put it down in the first place. Holding yourself back from your full potential because you're scared of judgment is doing a disservice to yourself and the world. You are great, and once you recognize that, and you recognize that you know yourself more than anyone else does, and you let go of being worried about how others perceive you, you will be so much happier and will do so much better. You know what's wrong and what's right. You can literally do anything in the world that you want. Ultimately, nothing is stopping you except yourself. Take a step out of your internalized world and look around. Anything is possible. Anything. So as I sat in front of my computer deciding on how I would describe myself, I kept it short and sweet. Be creative, be passionate, and most importantly, be yourself.